Welcome back to Heavner's Trainer X. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate the proper anchor for your hand and the relationship to your hand to your face when you're shooting. I had a lot of students that I've talked to and parents, and while I was actually demonstrating how to use the Trainer X, I'd ask them simply, where does your hand make contact with your face? And I've got a lot of various answers from I don't know to, well, I use a kisser button, well, I touch my nose to the string. Well, that's true, but almost every shooter, somewhere along the lines, your hands should be making a contact with your face. And the reason you want to be able to do that is because you can make a good solid contact with a knuckle or a little crease in your hand in relationship to your jawline, or maybe your cheek, or if you're shooting with fingers, maybe the corner of your mouth. So today what we're going to do for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use this true ball fang release, and I'm going to show you where I would set up my hand as a shooter, or show a student how to properly set up this release to shoot it with the Trainer X. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that the release fits in the hand of the shooter, so that when you lay your hand down on the release, you should be able to bend this finger without triggering and setting it off. You don't want to adjust it to where you're all the way out on the tip of your finger, but rather at this digit right here, you should be able to make a hook. This is going to help a lot of students. And if you can bring your thumb around and contact your index finger, you can contact your index finger right where your fingernail is, or whatever is comfortable, so that when you actually start to pull through the shot, you're going to get a little stretch, and that's what's going to activate the trigger, rather than what we commonly run into is where somebody comes up here with a trigger and they are hammering it. So to avoid that, we're going to want to come back and anchor. What I like to do is take this part in my hand when I'm shooting a trigger release, right between the thumb and index finger where you got this little V almost, and I'm going to put that right along my jawline. So right here where my jaw curves, I'm going to put that part of the curvature on my jaw right here in this spot on my hand. My thumb and this bone in my thumb is going to rest right along the bottom of my jawline. And so that when, as a shooter, we come back, that is a consistent anchor point. Now I want to wrap my finger around the trigger, bring my index finger and thumb together, and as I slowly start to pull through with back tension, and I start to hinge at the shoulder, then I start to stretch that release until finally the release goes off on its own. So as I start to pull with my back tension, and I start to rotate my shoulder using my back muscles and my skeletal system, not the trigger, I'm able to duplicate that shot more consistently on a regular basis. So again, I want to find the same anchor point. I'm going to get a good look at the target. And I start to pull through with back tension. And as I come through, pull through, I start to stretch everything, getting tight into the shot. And when the release gets to a point, it breaks, and you got a good clean release using the trainer. And the trainer dot is going to show you where you're pulling right, pulling left. If you start drifting off to the left or drifting off to the right, then we can work on the hand position to keep you pulling straight back in the proper plane that the arrow is on that you want it to fly. So again, I'm going to demonstrate that one more time, and then I'm going to show you a proper finger position. Going to get my same anchor point, I wrap my finger around the release, and I start to pull through, and I'm going to end up finishing the shot with a good follow through. If you bring that hand back here and you train yourself to follow through and brush your fingers just across your shoulder, you're going to get a consistent follow through, and you're going to be pulling back against the arrow rather than coming out to the side, and you're going to get more of a consistent arrow grouping, and the Trainer X is going to help to dial that in using that little dot on the middle of your target.